Urgent Dallas Cowboys FANS. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Today, we're diving deep into what was an intriguing start to the Dallas Cowboys preseason. A game that showcased some positives, but also highlighted areas that need serious attention before the regular season kicks off. Just imagine the scene. The Cowboys face off against the Seattle Seahawks in their first preseason outing. And while the final score was a comfortable 17-7 victory, the real story isn't just about the win or the scoreline. No, it's about what this game revealed about the current state of the team, what the coaches are focusing on, and what fans should be keeping an eye on as we inch closer to Week 1. Now, let's set the scene. The Cowboys, as we all know, have been riding a wave of optimism heading into this season. After all, they've made some key offseason moves, brought in new coaching staff, and are eager to bounce back from a challenging 2022 campaign that saw them just fall short of the playoffs. But preseason games are always a mixed bag. They serve as a litmus test for the team's depth, their ability to execute under pressure, and most importantly, their discipline and focus on details. And if what we saw against Seattle is any indication, there's a lot to work on, especially on the special teams and in finishing drives on offense. Let's start with the stars of the night, the Dallas Cowboys defense. You know, I love to talk about the defense because, honestly, that's been a cornerstone for this team for years. And this game was no different. The Cowboys' defense was absolutely dominant, holding the Seahawks to just 7 points, which is impressive no matter how you slice it. They limited Seattle to only 156 total yards of offense, which is a testament to the disciplined, aggressive play the Cowboys are capable of when their defense is firing on all cylinders. And what really stood out was their ability to shut down the Seahawks on critical fourth-down attempts. That's a huge statement. It shows that the Cowboys' defense is well-prepared, disciplined, and hungry to prove that they can be one of the league's top units once again. But of course, it's preseason, and we all know it's early days. Still, these defensive efforts, especially against a team like Seattle, which has some explosive playmakers, give the Cowboys fans something to feel good about. Players like Micah Parsons, who is already being talked about as one of the best defensive players in the league, looked sharp. His relentless energy and disruptive presence were on display, and that's exactly what the Cowboys need if they're aiming for a top-tier defense in the regular season. The secondary, too, showed promise. The young corners and safeties are still learning, but their effort and communication seemed to improve as the game went on, which is a positive sign. Now moving over to the offensive side of the ball here, that's where it gets a little more nuanced. The offense did some good things, no doubt. There were some explosive plays, some impressive throws, and the offensive line provided decent protection. But ultimately, they'd like to see more points on the board. The drive efficiency needs to improve. The Cowboys are known for their ability to move the ball, run the ball effectively, and execute in the red zone, but in this game, they left some points on the table. It's early, yes, but the coaching staff, especially the offensive coordinator, Schottenheimer, will want to see the offense clicking more smoothly in the upcoming games. And speaking of special teams, this is where things got a little uncomfortable. You know, Cowboys fans, special teams have historically been a strength, a real weapon for this team, but this game was a stark reminder that there's still work to be done. Against Seattle, the special teams unit struggled significantly. They allowed a 52-yard punt return, which is huge. Giving up that kind of yardage on special teams can flip field position and change the momentum of a game. And then there was the fumble on the punt return by Treshaun Holden, which in a real game could have been disastrous. That kind of mistake is costly, and it's exactly the type of thing that the coaching staff, led by special teams coordinator Nick Sorensen, will be drilling into these players in the coming weeks. To add to that, the Cowboys committed a penalty for illegal formation on a punt late in the third quarter. These are small details, but they're the difference between winning and losing in the NFL. The kickoff return game was also underwhelming, with only 23 and 25-yard returns, not exactly setting the world on fire. So what's the takeaway? Well, head coach Schottenheimer was quite candid about it after the game. He didn't hold back when addressing the media on Monday, emphasizing that the special teams play was not up to the standard they expect. He said, "Yeah, not good enough. We addressed that today with the guys. It's not the standard." And he's right, you can't afford to have those kinds of mistakes when the games matter, especially in a competitive NFC East where every yard and every play counts. But let's not forget, this is preseason. Schottenheimer mentioned that too, it's only game one. The focus now is on going back to basics, paying attention to detail and improving communication on coverage teams. He explained how players need to be clear about their roles, whether they're the outside player, the ball carrier, or the capper. Nonverbal communication, especially in coverage teams, is critical, and if that's lacking, it can lead to those costly mistakes. So yes, the special teams unit has some work to do, but there's also optimism. The main starters, like kicker Brandon Aubrey and punter Brian Anger, looked sharp. Aubrey nailed his lone field goal attempt from 29 yards, and Anger averaged a solid 48. 7 yards per punt on 3 kicks. That's good to see because, in the regular season, those are the kinds of performances that help flip the field and give the defense a better chance to succeed. Now, I want to pause here for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news and updates to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it really makes a big difference. Thanks so much. Now let's continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the Cowboys have 2 more preseason games to tighten things up. They're dealing with a roster that's still very much in development, with young, inexperienced players trying to earn spots and prove themselves. The coaching staff, led by head coach Mike McCarthy, and the assistant coaches, especially Nick Sorensen in special teams and Brian Schottenheimer on offense, will be working tirelessly to correct these issues. The goal is to enter Week 1 with a team that's more cohesive, disciplined, and ready to compete at the highest level. The offensive line, for example, showed some promising signs of continuity, but they'll need to keep improving their communication to protect quarterback Dak Prescott better. Prescott himself looked solid, making accurate throws and showing good chemistry with his receivers, but he's also aware that the offense must be more consistent and productive. The running game with Tony Pollard leading the charge looked effective at times, but there's room to grow, especially in establishing a rhythm early in drives. And then there's the defensive front. Micah Parsons, again, was a standout, but the defensive line as a whole needs to consistently generate pressure on the quarterback. The secondary, with young players like Trevon Diggs and Derion Kendrick, is still ironing out communication, but their talent is undeniable. As the season approaches, these players will be tested more, and the coaching staff will be looking for them to step up their game. Now, fans, let's talk about expectations. The Dallas Cowboys are always in the conversation, especially with the talent they have on both sides of the ball. But this year, the bar is even higher. The NFC East looks as competitive as ever. The Eagles, Giants, and Commanders have all made moves to improve their rosters, and the Cowboys need to be ready to match or exceed that level. If they can clean up the special teams, tighten up on penalties, and continue to develop their young players, there's no reason they can't be contenders once again. The defense has the potential to be among the league's best, and if Dak Prescott can find his consistency, the offense will be right there with him. For Cowboys fans, this preseason game was a reminder that while there's a lot to be excited about, there's also work to do. It's about refining, improving, and staying focused on the small details that make the difference between a good team and a great one. The upcoming games will be crucial. They're the chance for players to earn their spots, for coaches to correct mistakes, and for this team to build the chemistry needed for a successful season. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this game? Are you encouraged by the defense, concerned about special teams? Do you believe this team has what it takes to go all the way? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, insights, and news from the Star. So stay tuned, stay hyped, and let's keep supporting our team through every step of this journey. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys.